So guys, today we are looking at the 3 key areas for you to maximise your practice time. So guys, today we're going to talk about the 3 stages of practice that you should apply to all areas of your game. Come out here doing some pitching, so just trying to see how we can apply that just in the pitching area. So the 3 areas are block practice, so that is just working purely at technique, seeing if you can kind of control the distance the ball's going on something like a reliable basis. Then we're going to add some variability into it and then completely randomise it at the end, which could take the form of a test if you wanted it to. So got kind of this like kind of 40-yard shot right here. So the idea is just going to be working at getting the feeling for the technique back and through and hopefully getting some decent strikes going out there. So for me, just kind of getting the overall feel of trying to match my body rotation and my arm movement. So kind of quite a nice little shot right there. Okay, that's landed just a little bit past the flag, but it was actually struck quite well. Okay, so just going to hit another one right here, just getting an overall little feeling for that shot. So the main bit that we're trying to do right here is just working at any technique I'm working at the moment, which for me is getting some matching in there, and then strike and control. Okay, so they've landed somewhere near one another, a little bit towards the back of the green, but it was pretty good strikes, they weren't too bad at all. So ordinarily in a practice session, I'd probably do that for somewhere around 30, 40, 50 balls, all dependent on how successful I have been with the strike and with the control and how happy I feel with that area of my game. Now what I'm then going to do is I'm going to just see if I can change the distance I'm hitting it. So obviously we've got the flag here. I'm going to see if I can land one short, land one a bit longer, and then get the feeling for what the distance control is going to be. So all I'm going to do then is just see if I can get that same strike and feel by changing the swing length, or even the pace, depending which way you want to judge it. For me, I prefer just to change the length. So I'm going to try and hit one a little shorter. So I'm going to try and land one, might land just over the bunker, it might even go in it, but we're just going to try and hit a nice little short one. So I landed just over the bunker and stopped up quite nicely. And now I'm going to try, from a variable standpoint, trying to hit it a bit longer. So I'm just going to hit one that's going to go a lot further, hopefully towards kind of pitching a bit more over the back of the green. So this is then going to give me the idea of being able to get some distance control. And that one flew over the back of the green. So you can see there were 3 lengths of the swing. So the variable component I've put into that now is that I've been able to hit different lengths of swing and been able to control the yardage with one club. So we can see that how far the shot is eventually going is all going to be dictated by the swing length. But the first thing I did obviously is the block practice, gives me the overall technique. So even if you've got great technique, you'll always start off just with a little bit of this just to make sure it's refined. Then in the different yardages. Then lastly, if you get really good at this, then what you want to try and do is add some random components into it, maybe even as a test. So we've got a couple of tests we could do here. I could split the green into quadrants, okay, and aim for one of those areas. But the one I'm going to try and do for myself is I'm going to try and get the ball inside somewhere around 15 feet, and I would then play it as 3 trajectories, and I would then make sure that trajectory windows I'm trying to hit, I'm going to define them. So for me, the one I've just hit there is my standard flight. I need one to be half that height and one to be half that height again. So therefore I've got parameters of flight. So if I don't hit the flight but I get close enough to the flag, I've not actually completed the task. So it's about trying to hit that window and then trying to get the outcome of getting it close to the hole. So it's quite difficult. What you could do if you wanted to, you could make it easier by not having a proximity to the hole, by just having the variable in flight. But obviously this adds in many different components, which means that you can make this challenge as difficult as you want at the end of your practice session. So you can actually see, are you able to put this into play? Because this would then be something more like you'd want to do on the course. So I know that what the standard shot's been doing there, I'm going to try and play one a bit lower. So the slightly lower one's going to have the ball a little bit back in the stance. I've defined what the flight's going to be, getting the weight on the front foot. I'm going to keep that weight there and make that same motion. So I definitely hit the trajectory window, but it went miles too far. So that was, if I'm doing this as a challenge at the end, I've got to play that again. Completed one part of it, but the ball went too far. So I then have to analyse it to myself and decide what area of that was the bit that I struggled with. Why did it go too far? Well, I actually just hit it too hard, so I put too much force into it. The trajectory was perfect, so the way I executed the shot was great in terms of to control the trajectory, but to control the distance, I just imparted too much force. So let's try one more doing that, and let's see if we can just kind of control where that distance is going to go. So making sure I'm not hitting it too hard, got the ball back in the stance again, weights near that front foot, trying to hit that kind of lower wedge shot right here, and then just making sure I'm not hitting it too hard. So that was hit really, really nicely. I'm really pleased with that one. That would be, in the context of this, that would probably end up just about being a pass. What I then do is go on to the standard shot, and then lastly, okay, probably then see if I can hit one nice and high, and something like that would then say, right, okay, what is it that I've got to do for my game to get that ball up in the air? How do I feel it? So for me, ball a little further forwards, weights a little bit more towards the heels, okay, I'm then going to try and hit that higher shot and try and play something like the same kind of shot near the same sort of landing zone with the same parameters of how close I want to get it to the flag. So the outcome of the shot is it would have finished inside the target, but it was too low because I caught it a little bit clean. Okay, so I just haven't adjusted to the new ball position properly, so I'd need to do that again to make sure I hit that trajectory window. Outcome of the shot was great, but bear in mind I set the task at the start, i.e. what flight I wanted to hit and close it wanted to be. Didn't hit the trajectory window, got to do that again. So to make sure, therefore, that you've always got goals, and you make sure when you're doing this random bit, have those components in place of, okay, if it's going to be random, you've got to make sure, can you hit the flights? Can you finish the proximity to the hole? It becomes a challenge, and this then is very, very game-like, and it's going to be a transferable then. When you go on the golf course, you're more than likely going to be able to start to put this into play and then hopefully get yourself some better scores. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that video. There's loads of great things you can take away from this here. Obviously the way that you practice and structure those sessions is going to be key to improvement. Okay, it's not all about just making sure your swing is giving you the results you want. Once you've got control of that golf ball, you need to be able to improve your performance. That's going to lower your scores. So we're going to have a look at different ideas around practice of how you can start to become a better golfer. If you've enjoyed this, please comment below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Thanks for watching, and talk with you again soon.